Hey guys, and welcome back to another Monday with Shark Fin Barber Edition. My name is Vinny, and today I'm excited to talk to you guys about texturizing shears. What's in your arsenal? Do you know what they do, and do you know how to use them? Today, I want to cover 15 teeth, 30 teeth, and 40 teeth. What they do and how to use them in your haircuts so that you can achieve exactly what you're going for your client behind the chair. Enjoy. Okay guys, jumping right in today, like I said, I want to talk about texturizing shears, and I want to talk about three types. One that is going to be a 15 tooth, that's going to be also labeled as a chunker that has a specific role. We have a 30 tooth that has a specific role, and then a 40 tooth that has a specific role. So please pay attention to what you are currently using or what is in your kit. And down the road, as you want to continue to advance and add more tools, know exactly what you're going for and when to use it and how to use it. So texturizing shears, they all have teeth. They have spaces between the teeth, and then there's a count to them. So the space between there, how many teeth there are, it all affects the hair a little differently. Today, I want to keep things super simple as to how we're going to describe the texturizing shears and where and when to use them. So I'd like to start with the most versatile, which is going to be the 30 tooth. The 30 tooth texturizing shear, this is the workhorse. This is the one that I like to have in the kit at all times, and it's versatile in what it can do. So when we're talking about adding texture to the hair, we can talk about a little bit about what kind of texture we're going for. So for instance, you could add texture that is going to allow the hair to spike. It's going to add a lot of short and long hair pieces in there. That would replace maybe your point cutting. You're looking for a messy hairstyle, something that's going to spike, push hair along that line. The other area we could be looking at for hairstyles with like a mid to long length where we're trying to add texture, maybe the hair is just sitting too heavy and it won't flow back the way that you want it to. We can remove weight and add texture to the hair when clients run through either a wide comb through their hair or just their fingers, and it'll just add that nice chopped up texture and allow the hair to sit exactly where you want it to without falling and removing the weight but keeping the length that they so desire. So the 30 tooth, when I'm looking to use this specific one, is going to be what we kind of just mentioned, where I'm looking to remove bulk in the hair, maintain length, and allow the hair to sit exactly how the client wants it to as they move their hand or their comb through their hair for the finished style. As mentioned before, this texturizing shear is going to be my go-to, most versatile, and my workhorse, meaning I'm going to use it the most on haircuts. Also, as mentioned before, we can talk about adding texture for hairstyle, and then there's just common areas in the head where your texturizing shear is going to be used, because we're going to find that that area is typically where the hair falls and it's going to create the most weight, or typically there's the most density in the head. So for a 30 tooth, safest areas that you're going to be using it: the apex, the parietals, and the crown. That's the most common areas where the hair is going to be most dense, or we're going to be building the most weight. We can see kind of back here with this mannequin head, the way that we have cut this hair for a flow back. We have a ton of hair just kind of sitting around the back and the occipital. We have hair flowing from the top, hitting into the parietal and into the side, and it's just going to kind of sit heavy. So we want to remove the bulk in here And again, that'll lighten the hair, give it more movement, which is what we're considering texture, and actually allow for the silhouette to hug the head a little nicer and cleaner. So I want to show you another tip with your texturizing shear. When using these shears, we kind of talk about maybe where on the hair it's safe to use. When I'm holding up hair, and no matter the length, we can take the hair and we can actually push down. And if you see that S bend right there, the rule of thumb is that it is safe to use your texturizing shear above the S bend. I don't want to get too close to the root of the hair, and I want to go out on the ends to break up any lines. But when I'm removing bulk, for the hair to be able to keep length but sit nicer for the haircut, again, I can just push down on the hair quickly, see the S bend, and from there up we can use our texturizing shear. One little trick that we like to use in the shop. So again, take the hair, push down, not looking to go too close to the root. Now, as you can see, I'm doing 2 cuts on my way out. Again, I'm looking at this mannequin head specifically, how long the hair is and where it's sitting. So when we were talking about common areas that you can use a texturizing shear, for hair types you want to pay attention as well. So medium hair, and then for texture, and then the density is really going to play into a role in when and how we're going to use our texturizing shear. So again, we went over the most common areas where density is going to be high no matter the hair type, and depending on how the hair is sitting for the finished result, you can decide if you want to use your texturizing shear 30 tooth to debulk the haircut. Fine hair, low density, we typically want to stay away from using texturizing shears. Anything that is a medium hair thickness and medium density, you're free to use these, especially in those areas, and then again, depending on the style that you're looking to achieve. All right. Also, no matter what hair type or hairstyle you're going for, when you elevate the hair, using the shears properly on the hair and to not cause damage, we can look for that S bend, hold up the hair, and then cut. Depending on the hair type, like I was saying, I used 2 cuts going down towards that S bend and then on my way out to remove bulk. We can also use, depending on hair type, just 1. And sometimes that will be just enough. So those are the 2 different ways I'll use this specific texturizing shear, the 30 tooth, to remove bulk from a haircut, lighten up the hair a little bit, which will give it more movement, which will give it more texture. And again, depending on the hair, the type of hair, texture, and density, deciding where I'm going to use it and when I'm going to use it. And I'm either going to do 2 cuts or 1 cut to achieve the desired outcome. 40 teeth. What I like to share about the 40 teeth, these are your blenders. So I'm breaking the texturizing shears up into 3 simple categories. I'm either going to be using one to debulk hair and remove weight, to lighten the hair, and to tighten up the silhouette. These are blenders, they're your finishers. I'm going to be using these in areas where I'm going to be connecting either clipper to shear work, or shear over comb to shear over finger work. And there's just like a breakup in the hair, and we need to add in a little bit of texture to remove any lines of demarcation and create a smooth blend. So I grabbed this mannequin head to specifically show where the transition area is for this one. As you can see, we did a design on this one. I like, again, showing this. Your transition areas could be in the nape, in the crown, or on the sides into the top. That is the most common area that you're going to be using the 40 teeth to finish. One of the biggest mistakes that I see is something called barber bashing. So they'll take these 40s and they see a lot of length or a lot of bulk and they don't like it, and they're just picking up hair and just smashing it till it comes close to the outcome that they're looking for. First, if there's length there, we want to properly remove it with our shears to prepare the haircut to be finished with the 40 teeth blenders. And we don't need to sit there and barber bash the haircut. So we'd like to have all the proper length removed, and then again in the transition area, if we have just some not a smooth transition, a little bit of line of demarcation, we're going to use these, and we're just going to use them on the ends to finish and remove just some of that weight that's sitting there, or break up a line from the different tools or techniques that we're using to achieve the desired outcome. 40 teeth is the closest texturizing shear to what a straight shear would actually do, which is just remove the hair, remove all the length. So while we're doing this and we're staying on the ends, we don't want to hit the same area multiple times, because after a few cuts it will literally just cut the hair straight off, remove all the length just like a shear would. So as you're moving through, you're really just looking for that polish finish, and we're just staying on the ends to get that desired result. All right, so again, 40 teeth, closest thing to a straight shear that will remove all the length. We're using it for transition areas and just looking for that smooth polish finish. Okay, so far going through 30 teeth, 40 teeth, we're debulking with the 30, we're polishing and finishing with the 40, and now we're going to move into our 15 tooth texturizing shear. Just think of this like point cutting, guys. It's a very simple way to add in point cutting. This is a more specific texturizing shear, and this is one that I would definitely add a little later. I would go with a 30 tooth and your 40 tooth. You're going to be using those a lot more in the haircuts, and the 15 tooth texturizing shear, also known as a chunker, definitely can be added as you continue to grow and are working through a lot of different hairstyles. Again, depending on the desired outcome, where and how you're going to use these, but again, just looking at that S bend in the hair. And again, this texturizing shear, it's like putting in 5-point cuts. I'm saying 5, 10, 15, depending on how much of the shear you're going to be using. And then what you want to really pay attention to when you're using this, again, just like the other ones, that we're not hitting the same hair multiple times, because then you will just be removing too much and you will be destroying everything that you built. I'm going to use these, again, highly textured hair with short to long pushing, messy looks, or we're going for spikes, things of that nature. Other areas I could use it, I just want to really pay attention to. I'm going to be working with hair that is high density and that is thick as well. These texturizing shears would be safe to use on that type of hair. All right, areas again of high density in the parietal and in the crown, in those transition areas as well. If you have a fuller haircut, can definitely use it in the back. That's going to be a high dense area as well. Just be careful with these. Again, the most common mistake as people are moving through the haircut, they will cut and recut, and then you're actually removing more length and taking the haircut shorter as opposed to just adding texture. All right, guys, so again, we got 3 different types of texturizing shears with different amount of teeth, different spacing, and they all achieve a different outcome. So again, 15 tooth texturizing shear, or in the industry known as a chunker, that's going to add short and long texture, replace manual point cutting, and can be used for different hairstyles. The 30 tooth is going to be my workhorse. I can debulk with this. I'm going to be using it specifically for hairstyles and different areas of the head. And the 40 tooth, which is going to be your finisher, your polisher. I'm going to be using this on the ends of hair and in transition areas. So guys, hope this was helpful. Hope you know a little bit more about your texturizing shears. Again, if you like this video, please hit the thumbs up, comment below, and if you want to know anything else about texturizing shears, please let us know. I'm here for you.